everybody, this is Talky for the third installment of Meta Monday. This week, there were no new cards to shake up the metagame, but still, the metagame is evolving towards its natural equilibrium. The past week was pretty quiet tournaments-wise, with only 2 GCG open in rotation and 1 in Unlimited, but next week will be a treat with the Rage Finals taking place, as well as the Shadowverse Open Finals. So let's jump right into the data. First, a quick word about Unlimited. Since there is no big event in Unlimited at the moment, there's not much of a focus, but next week I'll be taking a look at all the Unlimited data from Dawnbreak Night Edge, so we get a better picture of the metagame and the top 16 conversion rates. As you can see, Dragon is seeing a big resurgence thanks to Feline, and Bloodcraft and Haven are also getting more popular, but as usual, Runecraft stays at the top. Runecraft is really the class to beat in Unlimited, with D-Shift, Daria, and even some random Dirt Rune builds. Runecraft is really the class that defines Unlimited. Then let's look at rotation. Last week, we saw the resurgence of Dragon. It was not a fluke, as it's still one of the 2 most popular decks. This week, it has been passed by Forest, but not by much, and when you play in your Grand Prix runs, you have to be ready to be facing Forestcraft and Dragoncraft. What's interesting is that Runecraft still sports a very high metagame percentage, even though, as we will see in a second, it doesn't perform that well. Even though Swordcraft is making a resurgence, Ginger Rune, being pretty weak against aggressive decks like Forestcraft and Dragoncraft builds, makes it not a great choice at the moment. On the other side, you can see a huge gap with the 4 least popular classes. You really have 2 groups, with Tier 1 being Dragoncraft, Forestcraft, Swordcraft, and Runecraft, and Tier 2 being Shadowcraft, Bloodcraft, Havencraft, and Portalcraft. People experimented last week with Arcus builds of Shadowcraft, but they kinda gave up on it, and Portalcraft has a problem of having bad matchups against both Dragoncraft and Forestcraft decks. But even though the popularity of Dragoncraft and Forestcraft is incredibly high, do this class show the results to back it up? Spoiler alert, yes they do. Forestcraft and Dragoncraft are actually really good, and they do perform at the tournament level. The interesting outlier is Swordcraft. We saw it fade in popularity a week ago with the arrival of Dragoncraft, but it's picking up steam with a higher metagame percentage this week and an incredibly high top 16 conversion rate. On the other hand, Runecraft, despite being pretty popular, really underperforms. So my advice, if you had a tournament this week, would be to bring Swordcraft and Forestcraft, because they're popular and performing really well. On the bottom half of the field, you can see Bloodcraft performing decently well, and Portalcraft also sporting a pretty good top 16 conversion, but the number aren't high enough to consider them secret OP decks. They're just performing okay. But yeah, don't sleep on Swordcraft. As I said yesterday in my deck tech, people sort of forgot about it, but it's still a great deck. Then, to close things out, let's take a look at what the pros brought to the Shadowverse Pro League. There's a clear consensus that Swordcraft and Dragoncraft are the best, as every single team brought it, and Forestcraft was also played by 3 out of the 4 teams, which shows its importance in the metagame. What's interesting is that pros don't really like Runecraft decks at the moment, and as we've just seen with the top 16 conversion rate, they're likely right. So that's it for today's edition of Meta Monday. We will have a wealth of data next week, so don't forget to tune in. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, talk about it to your friends, your family, your lovers, everybody. Tomorrow will be the 3rd installment of Tournament Tuesday, so have a good day and see you guys tomorrow.